They are not used to seasons like the last one in Montreal. Maybe things can be different this year, and apparently the mood is pretty good there today. Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort, talking National Hockey League with our hockey writer Jesse Spector, who's on a magical mystery tour of NHL training camps today in Montreal. And Jesse, you said the mood there is pretty good. What were your takeaways from practice today?
Yeah, it's definitely a fresh start here for the Montreal Canadiens, and they needed it after last season. They finished last in the Eastern Conference, and it's not going to be an easy road back. I don't think that the expectations are particularly high, knowing that they have a new coach and a new GM and a lot of new players, and this is a season where continuity is going to be a benefit to a lot of teams. But here in Montreal, where the expectations are usually through the roof, I think that it's tempered a little bit. People are looking forward to having a fresh start with Michel Therrien as the coach and Marc Bergevin as the general manager. Certainly everybody is happy that everyone here speaks French now, and they're sharing some laughs and having a good time. The PK Subban contract saga is not proving to be too much of a distraction. They're pretty much taking the attitude that he'll be here when he gets here, and everything will eventually work itself out. And this is a long-term process for this team, and it's something that they've needed for a little while. They still have a very good goaltender in Carey Price, and they're starting to see some of their prospects come along, which is a positive thing for this organization.
Yeah, talk about the blue line. Andrei Markov had some health issues last year and has had some for the past couple of seasons. How important is he to making the back end kind of work there in Montreal?
Well, he's very important. He's a guy that's been here as long as anybody, and a part of the Canadiens, and been through the ups and downs, and sort of one of the last messages of that sort of old guard for this team. They're looking at getting more fresh young players in here. Jared Tenorti is in camp, and there's pretty high expectations for him. And once Subban gets back, you know, he's one of the young stars of the league and a very dynamic force with both his offense and his defense. You look around, and it's not the most talented team, but there's positive things to build on, and you see that, and that's why the attitude, I think, is so good here.
Who scores for this team this year? I mean, who really has to have a big year for them to outperform what they did last year, which obviously is not a super high bar, but who scores for the Canadiens?
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit tricky for them. There's high hopes for Alex Galchenyuk, who was the third overall pick in the draft last year and won the gold medal with Team USA at the World Junior Championships. He's got a Russian name, but he was born in Milwaukee because his dad was a hockey player. So he is an American of Russian descent playing in a French-Canadian city, which adds to the international flavor that is always part of the mix here. He'll be involved, and he's got a chance to play on the top line with Thomas Plekanec and Brian Giunta, which would be very interesting. So it'll be interesting to see where the secondary scoring, where the depth comes in. Eric Cole and Max Pacioretty both had very strong seasons last year, and they'll be counting on them heavily again.
And what's your prediction? This team did finish last, as you said, in the conference last year. Where would you think they'll end up this season?
I don't think they'll be last again. I think they'll be better than that. And I think that part of the reason for that is that even though they were last a season ago, they were not the worst team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. They underperformed their stats a little bit, but sometimes that pays off because you get a higher draft pick. I think they're somewhere in that 10 to 12 range in the East this season. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. They've got to learn a new system with a new coach, and you take this season for what it is. It's 48 games. You're trying to learn along the way and really set it up going forward. And that's what happened with Therrien in Pittsburgh. He took over part of the way through Sidney Crosby's rookie year. The next year they were in the playoffs. The year after that they were in the Cup Finals. The year after that Therrien got fired, but they won the Cup.
Yeah, there you go. He wasn't able to enjoy that one. All right, listen, where are you headed next, Jesse?
Next up is the last stop on this trip, which is Boston, and then we'll get ready to start the season Saturday in Philadelphia.
All right, very good. Well, we'll talk to you from Boston, and take care.
All right, thanks.